I love it.
This thing that's humming. It keeps on humming.
Oh, we're live. Hold on, I have to type something. Okay. Well, good morning. Hi. My name is Jeff Wheeler. I'm here in lovely and illustrious Atlanta, Georgia, under the shadow of the Gold Dome. And up in the suburbs, is that where you are this week, Frank?
I am in Johns Creek, Georgia.
You are in Johns Creek, Georgia, so good morning to Frank. And we will give a shout-out to our other co-hosts that are dealing with other concerns, one of which is on a train bound for Dover. And the other is manning the board. So shout out to those. So that means that we have UK news this week that we will be completely making up the reality on because we don't have our resident expert. But that's not going to stop this show. We will speak about the things that we want to talk about. So there you go.
Infotainment, Jeff. Infotainment.
We have a little bit of info and a lot of tainment.
So do we want to go to British politics by Jeff and Frank?
Yeah, let's do British politics. Number one, the UK stunner. This past week, the United Kingdom, the British Empire, had an election for their parliamentary leader, known as the...
Tories.
No, the Prime Minister.
Oh, that would be...
Their leader.
Is David Cameron.
Is now David Cameron. So the stunner was that they thought it would be some coalition government where there would have to be a couple of different parties that would pull together to make a coalition to elect a single leader, a single parliamentary leader, a prime minister. But as the election results went, 331 seats went to the Conservative Party.
Out of how many?
There are 650 seats. So therefore, 331 seats that are Conservative mean that David Cameron, without any coalition, is able to be the Prime Minister. Which means that he doesn't have to answer to anybody but his own party.
So that's more of a plurality, right? That's over 50%.
That is 51%.
Okay.
It is one seat over... Oh, no, it's more than that. 325 seats to get a majority. So he got 331.
So the way that I recollect that the UK parliamentary system works, there are multiple parties, not like in the US, where it's just the Republicans and the Democrats. And I would have to say, I saw some kind of graph that, so the Tories, which I keep thinking the Tories are liberal, but they're not, they're conservative.
Right.
So David Cameron's party...
Founded in 1834. It was preceded by the Tory party, but the Conservative Party was founded in 1834, preceded by the Tory.
And we'll check the show notes on this, but I believe that the Tories are maybe a subset, or like they're the ultra-conservative side of the conservative wing?
Right. They are if you were to have founding fathers of the conservative movement in the UK, it would be the Tories. Those are the strongest-willed, the most adamant, the most hardline. And the color of the British Conservative Party is?
Apricot.
I don't know what color apricot is, but no.
Orangey gray.
It is blue.
Like the sea, because they're a mariner nation.
No. Because someone picked blue.
Well, maybe it's Royal Navy blue.
Okay.
But the thing about it is, which I saw, and I don't know where I even read this article, but I know some countries in Europe, more on the Scandinavian side, when they do their elections, they do it by, I guess, what's the word to describe? It's based on percentages of the electorate. So say if this was like the U.S., right, and we have all these multiple parties, like we have the Green Party, the Libertarian Party, the Democrats, the Republicans, right? So say if you go through the election and you say, okay, let's simplify it. So say we only have 10 people in the election, but the Democrats get 4, the Republicans get 3, and then the rest of the parties get, 1, 1, and 1. Well, the representatives the percentage of that would be in the House, so you would actually get seats based upon the percentage of the vote. So say if you got 10% of the vote and there's 100 seats, you would get 10 seats in the House, rather than only getting 1 seat, which I noticed that some of the more, I don't want to say extreme, but the lesser known parties in the UK seem to get. So it's much like our political system where they have multiple political parties, but it just seems like it's either the Tories, the real conservative side, and what's the liberal side?
So we've got the two main, which is the Conservative Party and the Labour Party.
Okay, Labour is the other one, right?
Which was headed up by Ed Miliband. And the pundits believed that this was going to be a tight race and that it was going to really mean something and really have some sort of teeth to get it to happen. But as it came out, it was a pretty resounding win for the Conservatives. There's also the SNP, the Scottish National Party, which was headed by a woman, and then the Liberal Democrats, which only got 8 seats in Parliament. 8. And the Liberal Democrats were the ones that were backing up the Conservative Party to give them enough for a majority for the for them to be able to get the prime ministership previous to the 2015 election. Then there's the Democratic Unionist Party, and that also has 8 parliamentary seats. And the rest of the parties have none. So that is 5 active parties. I would consider 2 of them fringe parties, and then the SNP is significant at 9%. I would love to have a third party here in the United States that had 9% of our elected seats. I think that would
it'd stop a lot of the gridlock in Congress, that's for sure.
Would it? Would it?
Or it would just add to it.
Right.
We get some ultra mega conglomerate that probably has its tentacles in oil and insurance, and then they will be footing the bill for every elected official that they have in their pocketbook. So it wouldn't change at all. But I'm not cynical. But Jeff, I want to switch some gears here, if that's all right with you.
Hey, let's gear shift.
You and I both love barbecue, right?
I do enjoy some good meat on a Barbie.
And I wish you were out in Colorado this past week, because you know what? You could have gotten a 10% discount on your meal.
Where?
Well, this would have been for White Appreciation Day, but it actually starts on June 11th.
You know, I was only an hour and a half from Colorado last week.
So his website is currently down due to a high volume of traffic.
The website is currently down due to higher than normal call volume.
I don't know. I heard this in passing, and I thought it was a joke at first. I'm like, is this for? I mean, I'm like, dude, seriously? Isn't White Person Appreciation Day like every day?
No.
And then apparently this guy is Mexican American though. He's he's from Mexico, and he just.
Was that you cutting out, Frank? Sweet cakes. So we will let that be the case, that there was a White Appreciation Day, and I'm going to let that sit on its own accord. So we will go to the next data point of importance. So let's go to a couple of pieces of fluff here. So the May 15th will be Peace Officers Memorial Day. So apparently peace officers have a memorial day to individuals who have died in the line of duty as peace officers. Also May 15th, National Defense Transport Day. I'm not sure if this is for trucks or what, but now you have it. And then May 16th is Armed Forces Day. So I have not been an armed force, but it might be the case. You back, Frank?
Yeah, and you were segueing into VE Day after White Appreciation Day?
Right. Well, no, I was going through Armed Forces Day, National Defense Transport Day, Peace Officers Memorial Holiday, and then there was VE Day. When was VE Day, Frank?
Well, the Europe Europe celebrates it was 2 days ago, so it would have been on 5/8 of 1945. But the U.S. celebrated it or maybe that was wrong. Maybe it was on the 7th, and then the U.S. celebrated on the 8th.
Okay.
Which Washington...
Because of international time zones?
I don't know. Because I got this app on my phone.
So make something up.
It's either the 8th or the 9th. It's somewhere around there, right? So,
right.
Which Washington over Washington D.C. they shut down. It's an automatic no-fly zone over the U.S. Capitol. But they did something really cool. They actually had vintage World War II planes fly in formation over the National Mall on Friday.
Oh, that's nice.
Which I didn't realize the hum of those bombers and the because they're all propeller.
Yeah.
They're all propeller.
Yep.
They didn't have jets back in 1945. They were trying.
They did.
They were trying, but they weren't in service.
ME-109 existed. There was the Comet, I believe, that was also in service. There were some jets, but the number of total jets in service was like 100 around the world.
Which is amazing to me that a prop plane can go all the way from Los Angeles to Hawaii, if you ask me.
Why?
It's just amazing. It's one of those things where it's like, this day in travel, and you travel a lot of airplanes, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, I can't even handle a modern day plane flight. I couldn't imagine being on a prop.
Well, it's really the same. It just goes a little slower.
Pretty wild.
The first production jet aircraft was the Gloucester Meteor, right? That was on the 15th of May, 1941. That flew from Cranwell to Lincolnshire in England. It was the first production jet fighter was from England, right? Then they went to the de Havilland Vampire, which flew in 1943.
Interesting.
The Meteor was one of only 2 that actually saw service in the war. So then the Germans basically stole the idea from the British and made the Messerschmitt 262. So there you go.
I'm just ready for drones to just take over the world.
Drones.
Have you been in a conference yet where they actually have those little drones flying around?
What do you mean by little drones flying around? Like taking pictures of everyone inside?
No. So imagine like a huge, like a conference. It could be a tech conference or something. And for each one of the individual booths, they would actually have drones flying around, giving information out about the company of that booth or whatever. Have you even run across that? Because I know you go to some trade shows and stuff. So.
Yeah, I do. But there is a way that you can fly a drone around a place and drop off information. That sounds great for my next conference. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to get a micro drone, an FPV micro drone.
Yeah. It's
and
like
then just fly it around.
Like a kid's toy.
Yeah. And yeah, it's only good for 5 minutes, but whatevs.
So, would that be a telltale sign of you being a modern-day yuppie?
No. I am not anywhere near a modern-day yuppie. Not close. Nothing like. Nothing at all like. But let's speak about what they do say as modern-day yuppies, which is the hipsters.
I don't get hipsters, man.
Nobody does.
I don't even know how to define what a hipster even is.
You need to come hang out in downtown like me, and I will show you hipsters. I will go, normal person, hipster. It's easy to point out when you see them on a regular basis. You live in the land of strollers, which has less hipsters.
Yeah.
Because hipsters don't want to live out where you are.
Are they graduated hipsters at that point?
No.
No?
Mm-mm. In a couple of years, graduated hipsters will exist, but they're not truly there yet.
They're not truly there yet.
Yeah, they're not truly there yet.
So hipsters are like millennials, is what you're saying.
Right. So speaking of someone who is not truly there yet, the Texas governor hatched a plan directly from InfoWars. He went and said that the Texas State Guard has a plan to monitor military exercises. In that plan, there was some sort of reference to Walmarts in West Texas. You see, there are these Walmarts in West Texas that are supposedly closed for 6 months for quote-unquote renovation. That's what they want you to believe. The truth is these Walmarts are going to be military guerrilla warfare staging areas and FEMA processing camps for political prisoners. The prisoners are going to be transported by train cars that have already been equipped with shackles. Don't take my word for it. That comes directly from a Texas Ranger who seems pretty plugged in, if you ask me. You and I both know that President Obama has been waiting for a long time for this, and now it's happening. It's a classic false flag operation. Don't pay any attention to the mainstream media, as they are going to lie and attack everyone who's trying to tell you the truth.
So let's take a step back here for a second. Okay. So what he is specifically pointing to a very small subcategory of quote-unquote the 3%ers. And do you know what a 3%er is, Jeff?
No, it sounds like it's made up by the mainstream media.
So my take on it is he is trying to advocate the position of the 3%ers, who are these people, allegedly, back when we fought the Revolutionary War, only 3% of Americans or patriots took up arms against the British.
Yes.
So I believe he is talking to the ultra-national quote-unquote patriots that are out there.
Okay.
They're going to be the ones that are going to be buying all these guns, ones that are going to be buying all these gas masks, that are preparing for the apocalypse.
Yes, got it.
Yeah, that are listening to Henry Winkler and buying copious amounts of silver. So these are the people that he's broadcasting to, right? And he's going to resonate with, and they're going to agree upon. And that's the small echo chamber.
Uh-huh.
But he is a governor of a state, which I would say, and you are a Texan, Jeff.
I was
and
born
you know
a
people
Texas,
out there like
a
this.
Texan, yes. I don't know if I know people like this. I haven't heard what you have to say yet.
There are a lot of people that are very scared about the border in Texas, and they feel like the national government or the federal government is not attaining its sovereign right to protect the borders of the United States. And they are very passionate, and a lot of these people are ex-military, and they've decided that they're going to take it as their personal responsibility and their belief as a true citizen and quote-unquote a patriot in their mindset, that they're going to protect what is the U.S.'s sovereign border. And they feel like the federal government, I mean, Texas in general always feels like the federal government infringes upon its rights.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, the electrical grid, Texas has its own electrical grid, so if the rest of the country goes down, Texas will be up.
Well, there are 3 electrical grids in the United States: Eastern U.S., Western U.S., and Texas.
Right.
So
Texas was its own independent country for 10 years. So there's a lot of pride there.
It is the only state in the Union that legally has the right to secede from the Union, so they say. I don't know. If you want to have a place that has a strong audience for that, I think that Texas is one of the few states that's going to have a very strong audience for that. I still think that it's a bit on the cray-cray side. So in vote from those whom are not present currently, that has been brought up as this week's Asshat.
I still thought Rick Perry was the governor of Texas.
Rick Perry is no longer the governor of Texas. The gentleman who is now the governor of Texas is Greg Abbott. Wayne Greg Abbott is an American lawyer and politician. He currently serves as the governor. He was the 50th Attorney General of Texas. And a bit fanatical. So the way that Texas claims to have the right to legally secede from the Union is in their state constitution. They said that they are their own state. They are their own country first before they joined the United States, which means that they retained the right to be their own country at any time that the citizens of that state deem necessary.
So they'd have to have a referendum.
Effectively. I'm not a Texas constitutional lawyer, but that's what I've been told, is that it's the only state who reserves the right to be their own state.
And that is how the Hunger Games starts.
So I literally Googled how can Texas, and the second result was secede from the U.S., and the third result was beat Oklahoma in football.
Funny thing about that rivalry is that's called the Red River rivalry, and every time when Texas wins, they actually have the rights to that river. And then when Oklahoma wins, the border actually gets extended to the other side of the river.
That's crazy.
And yeah, so if you think about it.
So apparently that is a heavily popularized bit of Texas folklore that finds no corroboration where it counts. No such provision is found in the current Texas Constitution.
Oh, it's folklore?
Or in the terms of annexation. However, it does state in Article 1, Section 1, that Texas is a free and independent state, subject only to the Constitution of the United States. Note that it does not say subject to the President of the United States, or subject to the Congress of the United States, or subject to the collective will of one or more of the other states.
What if David Cameron wants Texas to secede?
I don't think that really has any bearing. That's my guess. But you know what? Something that does have bearing? This past week, on May 7th, the Globetrotters taught the new Pope how to do the spinning ball trick.
The dribble.
The spinning ball on your finger trick. The spinning basketball on your finger trick.
I'll tell you what, being a Harlem Globetrotter these days is pretty awesome. I mean, not only did they get to go to North Korea, then they get to visit the Pope.
Okay.
Think about what a contrast that is.
Okay.
And to think about it, Kim Jong-un is very much so a basketball fan. So why didn't they teach him to do that on his finger?
I do not know. I have no idea. But there was a tragedy here in Atlanta where a flight on Friday determined that it was going to land on a stretch of highway that we know as the 285.
Yeah.
It's a very major thoroughfare here in Atlanta, and it kind of goes around the circle, if you will, the perimeter highway. And it thought it was going to land, but it actually crash landed.
Oh, it was horrible.
4 aboard. They basically lost control of the vehicle, or lost control of the airplane just after takeoff. And so the NTSB decided that they were going to leave both directions, all lanes shut down while the investigation was going on.
I saw that on TV, and I just could not imagine the frustration level of those people. I mean, obviously it's a horrible tragedy for the family, and
that's right.
My heart goes out to them. But just the traffic situation, the absolute nightmare Atlanta traffic is just to begin with, and to be trapped.
But it didn't end up being as bad as people were talking about.
It seemed like it wasn't as bad as the snow.
10 o'clock or something in the morning says, if you can leave now, you might as well leave now, because this afternoon's rush hour is going to be worse than snowpocalypse.
And do you want to hear your government at work on this one?
You can go with it.
So the NTSB, National
Traffic Safety Board.
They basically, for any type of incident occurring with planes or railways or anything like that, if there's an accident, they're the branch that goes out there and makes sure, finds out, investigates, publishes the report. Jeff, how long do you think it takes them to publish the report?
6 months.
1 year.
Jeez Louise.
So we will not find out anything what happened to the plane for at least 9 months.
Wow.
Can you imagine living in the business world like that?
Wow. That's crazy. Well, I mean, there's just a lot of things in government that just take some inordinate amount of time, and for no good, blessed reason whatsoever. But it is what it is. Today, I would like to take a moment of silence for all of our mothers. Everyone here has a mother, whether you're listening or here. We all have a mother, and let's give her a happy Mother's Day. Whether she's with us in person or with us in spirit, let's all say a moment for our mothers.
I'm with you on that. Absolutely.
Thank you. And to Mother's Day, another Hallmark holiday that, our mothers are important, but, do we have to? Never mind. I'm not even going to go down there today. But thank you for Mothers and Mother Day.
Wow. You're getting the best version of Jeff Wheeler right now. This is a.
I decided to make a good choice.
That was a great pivot, Jeff. Congratulations.
Sometimes I decide to make good choices. Not always, but sometimes. And on another Mother's Day good moment, I will leave you with this factoid. Britain's new princess is named Charlotte Elizabeth Diana. Born to Kate Middleton, and she looked ravishing right after birth.
How the hell can that?
Not many people that can do that, but a princess such as Kate Middleton can, somehow, some way.
She makes a moo-moo fashionable.
I do not get it, but she rolls with it. So on that inconquerable, fantastic point of British data, we start with the UK, we end in the UK. Ladies and gentlemen, that's another week in the books.
David Cameron's new baby is Charlotte.
I don't think that there's that kind of connection, Frank. But you know what? I appreciate the way you think, because I don't have to think like you think. Go ahead.
I don't think.
You do think, and we ask that you think. As our audience, we ask you to come back and talk with us about the way that you think. So come see us at Wyatt.com. We are looking forward to having people join us at your earliest convenience. Come and hang out, and we ask that you think.
And next week we'll have a guest.
Oh, yeah?